What's up, guys? Back with another Honkai Starro video. In this video, we are going to talk about should you summon for imaginary DPS a Dan Heng. Now, his return is very funny because they just gave us Dr. Ratio, so his role as an imaginary DPS does go down a little bit, right? Some people are going to be like, oh, well, that doesn't really matter, yada yada. It's important, right? Having a DPS that is a really good DPS and the only DPS of a certain type. You can argue that Yukong and Welt can do damage, but he is the definitive DPS. The fact that we got Dr. Ratio for free and he's really good kind of hurts him a little bit, but he's still an incredible DPS in his own right. So let's go over his kit and I'll tell you all my thoughts on should you summon. And of course, I will do a follow-up video. I'll probably drop it in a few hours. We're really rapid firing the videos at the end of the month. If you know why, you know why, right? But let's get into the video. So how Dan Heng works is we're gonna have to go over his skill first and then go over his basic attack, which is a first for characters and how I do these videos. So how he works is he enhances his basic attack up to 3 times. Upon enhancing his attack, his basic attack changes and it will gain the ability to become Blast at Divine Sphere and Fulgurant Leap. When using Divine Sphere and Fulgurant Leap, start from the 4th hit, 1 stack of Outroar is gained. Before every hit, each stack of Outroar increases his crit damage by 12% for a max of 4 stacks. The stacks last until the end of the turn, right? Those are the 2 blast hits, the other 2 are single target. So, we have a 2-hit, 100% damage dealt, 100% damage from his attack, on the basic attack. This one is going to give you 1 skill point, while the rest of them are going to take skill points. So next one is Transcendence. It's a 3-hit 260 attack. Then the hit Blast. It's going to be a 385 hit, and on the 4th hit onward, you deal damage equal to 60% of his attack to adjacent targets. Blast. And then the last one, the big boy damage dealer, is a 7-hit 500%, and on the 4th hit, you do 180 to adjacent targets. Pretty nice. This attack does insane amounts of damage. The issue with it is you will use 3 skill points. Same with Divine Sphere using 2 and Transcendence using 1. Now his talent for each hit helped during an attack, Dan Heng gains 1 stack of Righteous Heart, increasing his damage by 10%. His effect can stack up to 6 times. That means if you use Fulgurant Leap, you're getting a total of 60% damage dealt, and you are going to be getting his crit stacks as well. Starting from the 4th hit, so that would be 4, 5, 6, and 7. You'll get all stacks, so you get 4 stacks of 12% crit damage. That is a total of 48% crit damage, 6% damage dealt, and you're dealing 500% damage. You can see how all this damage racks up and Dan Heng hits incredibly hard. But that's not all. He has an ultimate. That's a 3-hit, deals imaginary damage equal to 300% of his attack. At the same time, deals 140 to adjacent enemies, and it gains 2 stacks of Squama brain explosion. Yeah, you couldn't pay me to say that correctly, even if you gave me like 2 whole days. Anyway, so he gets 2 stacks. He has a total stack holding of 3. And you can use these stacks to offset the skill point consumption, meaning if you have 2 stacks and you use the leap, you'll only use 1 skill point because 2 skill points are being used by his ultimate's passive thing. Overall, pretty good. That means that you want to ult with him a lot to offset the fact that you're using 3 skill points on 1 character, so it's nice that the character kind of has a somewhat answer to its own problems. Then we have the technique. He enters a state of Leaping Dragon for 20 seconds. This allows you to dash forward and hit enemies. If you've ever seen the Warp Trotter stage of the funny Swarm, I almost forgot what it was called for a second. I almost want to call it like the bug mode. Anyway, if you've ever done some of the Universe Swarm and there's that room with all the Warp Trotters, you use Dan Heng here and he dashes forward and hits them all. It's super easy, super funny. If you hit an enemy with this attack, you will deal 120% of his attack on all enemies, and you gain 1 funny ultimate stack, meaning you have 1 free skill point to use for Dan Heng's attack. Then we have the bonus abilities. When damaging enemies with imaginary weakness, crit damage increases by 24%. Apparently, Dan Heng just loves crit damage with his enhanced attacks and this. Then he gains increased chance to resist crowd control debuffs by 35%, and at the start of battle, immediately regenerates 50% energy. And his bonus stats are 22.4% magic damage, 12% crit rate, and 10% HP. 12% crit rate is nice because his relic set for basic attack wants 70% crit rate, which is a tall task, so he will need any crit rate he can get because he doesn't really want to give it to himself with any other abilities, so thank God they gave us crit rate for this. Now let's go over his dupes. Increase the stackable Righteous Heart by 4 and gains 1 extra stack of Righteous Heart for each hit during an attack. That's insane. That's over 100% damage dealt. Then we have a second one. After using his ultimate, Dan Heng action is advanced forward by 100%, gains 1 extra funny ultimate buff. That means that you'll have 3 stacks, meaning you get 1 whole leap for free. Big W. Then you have, funny 3 and 5, skill, talent, all that. His fourth one, the buff effect granted by Outroar lasts until the end of this character's next turn. And then the last one, after another ally uses their ultimate, imaginary resistance penetration of Dan Heng's next full grant leap attack increases by 20%. This fact can stack up to 3 times. Overall, the best ones are going to be E2. That will allow Righteous Heart to be uber OP with 100% damage dealt, and you will then ult and instantly be able to use Fragrant Leap with Dan Heng, meaning you are going to be doing a lot of damage. Kind of turns into a Jinglu type buff when she transforms, and it's instantly her turn, and then she does her big damaging attack. Dan Heng kind of does the same thing. Overall, Dan Heng is very strong. There are not too many imaginary characters in the game still. It's him, Yukong, Welt, Luocha, Dr. Ratio, and I think that's it. If I'm forgetting someone, yikes. But he still has value. It went down a very slight bit when Dr. Ratio was released just because he had the edge of being the second best damage dealer, but also being the real only damaging character. People can argue Yukong and Welt, right? But Dan Heng was the definitive DPS for imaginary. I feel like he still is, but you can just, use Dr. Ratio instead if it's really that much of an issue. So he did lose that slight edge. Jinglu still has the definitive ice character going for her. I still think that Jinglu is better than Dan Heng because he does have his skill point issues. Luckily for Dan Heng, you can offset those with Sparkle. She's not out yet, but she does help recover skill points and give you more skill points past the limit. Then you have Hanya as well, who gives skill points. So Dan Heng will be good as long as 2 things don't happen. 1, he stops getting skill point support, or 2, characters just do what he does without using skill points. Like the second we get an AoE imaginary damage dealer that hits harder than Dan Heng or hits around Dan Heng, it's almost going to be over for him, but that shouldn't happen for a long time because him and Jinglu just do so much absurd damage that it'd be some crazy power creep before that happens. But than that, what's up guys, Future ZDB here. I totally didn't have to record this video 3 times because I straight up was mentioning characters and totally forgot Dr. Ratio existed in one of them. Yeah, don't ask. And then another video I had to get up and then I came back and it was still recording and I totally forgot my train of thought process. Yeah, you can tell it's been a long night. And then on the last one I was like, alright, sick, and recording. I never said if it should you summon. So let me take over for past ZDB and say yes, if you're missing a good DPS, Dan Heng is there for you. When I mentioned Dr. Ratio, right, I meant to incorporate the fact that since you have Dr. Ratio, obviously you have Imaginary covered, but Dan Heng is still a great option. If you have your DPSs covered, definitely take a pass on him unless you really like the character. Other than that, that's it. Back to whatever the hell I was saying before. I love editing. I love the fact this will probably take 30 minutes to render just because I forgot to say 2 lines. Anyway, you should subscribe because I'm going insane. That'll be it for the video. Let me know in the comments if you're summoning for Dan Heng, if you're summoning for his light cone, if you're going for dupes, if you're skipping, and of course I will go over his light cone in a future video. But anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe as always, and thanks for watching.